Somebody wants out up there, I think. A church mouse or something. Alright, so I had a little compliment this morning. Well, good morning. My name is Sharon, and I get to share some music with you this morning. I'm so glad to be here. Jesus, baby, born to save, visit us this very day. We put aside the lights and tinsel. Jesus, baby, born to save. Jesus, baby, born to save, God's own Son to give away for a world that loves you not. Jesus, baby, born to save. Your sacrifice unfathomable, your perfect love is limitless, that you would condescend to us and model perfect holiness. Jesus, baby, born to save. We're so unworthy in every way. To receive your sacrifice, Jesus, baby, born to save. Oh, Jesus, baby, born to save. Thank you so much. That's a little song called Jesus, Baby, Born to Save. And I have been living in Columbia, South Carolina for about 38 years now. I originally am from this area, grew up in the Chesapeake area, kind of in Churchland, went to Western Branch High School. Oh dear. That happens, doesn't it? So yeah, we had a good, we still have a good rivalry going, but I love me some Churchland people too. So it feels really good to be back in this area. My parents live in Williamsburg, Virginia. They stayed here a long time, close to 50 years, but then in 2018 relocated to be nearer my brother. So the interesting thing is what brought me to Court Street. Here I was in Columbia, South Carolina, and had no idea, like the rest of you, that a worldwide pandemic would enter into things, you know. It was a scary time. It was a time where many of us didn't really expect that. We didn't know what was going on. We didn't exactly know what our place was and what things were going to look like in the future. And as somebody who, I live alone, so that felt extremely lonely. For those of you who had somebody in the house with you, at least you had another human being, that was in your pod, so to speak. Remember those times? And so I really enjoyed the fact that there was a brave little minister down here in Portsmouth, Virginia, who had decided that he was still going to preach the gospel, and he was going to figure out a way to do that in a pandemic by getting a little message recorded out in front of the church, and to also have Joe McDonald do the filming for him on that. And so I began to tune in and hear the gospel, which is what we all needed to hear, especially at that time. And so it made me so curious about this church here in Portsmouth, Virginia, that I had never been to the whole time that I had lived here. And so I had an opportunity at some point after the pandemic to come and visit with you all, and you're so warm and friendly. And then they even let me come and sing in the choir too, and that's been really fun too. So I have so enjoyed that, and here we are today. I get to share some of my songs with you. I started writing songs when I was 12 years old. Went to Ridgecrest Camp with my church at the time, a Baptist church, and learned a little bit about songwriting, and I was kind of hooked. So I began to try to write songs, and the very first song I wrote was like a little hymn. It was called "I Know That It Is Jesus." That was the name of it, and it just sings kind of like a hymn in your hymn book. Then continued on from there to try to write different kinds of songs. Mostly, though, they tended to be songs that could be sung in the church, and they always had to have some scriptural truth in them. Eventually, I was a church musician for many, many years, but then God knew that I had a love for those who are creative and are my fellow musicians, and I so wanted them to know the God who made them, the creators that they were made in His image, and that's why they were so creative. So I say that God kind of kicked me out of the church a little bit and said, all right, I want you to go out and play music in some secular places. And that was pretty scary with being a church musician most of my life. But I began to do that in my 40s. So I didn't pick a very early time to do that. Didn't have any tomatoes or bottles thrown at me, thankfully, during that time period. But I got to meet a lot of really interesting songwriters that were in the Columbia area and even a little beyond, and had opportunities at times when they would be nervous about going on stage to say, well, what kinds of things help you when you're nervous? And they would say things like, well, a little whiskey doesn't hurt, and I said, is that helping today? And no, not really, I'm still really nervous. And then I would take a little bold step and say, well, could I pray for you before you go on? And they would say, well, that's kind of weird, sure. And I got to do that a few times, and just, it felt natural to me, because that's what I do when I'm nervous. I seek out God. And so then, they, some of them found out that was a good thing for them as well. So just kind of shared my faith where I could, but didn't put it on anybody in a really pressured way. So, and when you hang out with creative people, you're going to write songs, you're going to do creative things. And we also had a little Christmas program that happens every year in Columbia. It was called Christmas at Red Bank, and these musicians who played in secular places would come and be challenged to do sacred songs for one night to raise money for the community. So I had an excuse in playing with them for this event to write Christmas songs. And this next one I want to share with you is a song called Little Baby. Now, just like your children sometimes have a personality that you might not have expected because their DNA is their DNA. Sometimes your songs are like your children. They kind of come out in ways that you might not expect. And that's the way this little song was too. I had never written a song in this style before, but I'm going to share it with you today. So here we go. Sometimes I feel like Charlie Brown when the chaos of December comes to town. In the midst of shopping, decorating, gathering, my spirit it's all about a little baby born in a manger, come to save the whole wide world. This child will lead us, his name is Jesus, he is Savior, he is Lord. What we used to call Christmas breaks been replaced by winter holidays. We're afraid to say Merry Christmas, it seems that's incorrect politically. Still, it's all about a little baby born in a manger, come to save the whole wide world. This child will lead us, his name is Jesus, he is Savior, he is Lord. Whatever happened to shepherds and stars and wise men bearing gifts? Glory to God, joy to the world, the simple truth is this, that it's all about a little baby born in a manger, and to save the whole wide world. This child will lead us, his name is Jesus, he is Savior, he is Lord. Little baby born in a manger, saving the world. This child will lead us, his name is Jesus, he is Savior, he is Lord. I'm going to switch up here and take you over to the piano for this next one.
One of the very fun things, here we go. All right, I think we're all on now. Maybe not.
Okay, there we go. I get to introduce you to another song, two songwriters through this song, because I did not write this song, but a lady named Rose Fagan and her co-writer David Staten got together in Nashville, like Nashville songwriters do, and they decided they wanted to write a song that was kind of like Mary, Did You Know, which is one of those songs that I wish I had written, because that's a pretty amazing song. I think a lot of people feel that way about that song. And they said, we want to write a song that is from Joseph's perspective. And that is what they attempted to do through this next song. And so this song is called I Wonder If He Called Him Dad. So it has some pretty profound lyrics, and one of the wonderful things is that Rose has gone on to be with Jesus, but her song still lives on beyond her. It's one of her song children. And so I get to think of Rosie this morning as I introduce you to one of her finest songs. I wonder how Joseph felt when Mary gave him the news. He thought about leaving, he struggled with what to do. But an angel came to Joseph and said, do not be afraid. This child is the Son of God, and Jesus is his name. I wonder how it might shared a special bond in Joseph's family name. And all those father-son talks, you know they must have had. I wonder, ooh, I wonder if he called him Dad. Joseph stood by Mary, held that baby to his chest, taught him his first words, helped him take his first steps. And when Jesus would reach up and take Joseph by the hand, I wonder if he called him Dad. I wonder how it must have felt to be chosen among men, to be an earthly example for a boy who never sinned. They both knew it was Joseph's blood that ran through his veins. Still they shared a special bond in Joseph's family name. And all those father-son talks, you know they must have had. I wonder, ooh, I wonder if he called him Dad. Thank you for letting me share some songs with you this morning. Merry Christmas to you all.